it's about time that I get some new running shoes. So let's talk about how I know I need to get new running shoes and what shoes I'm gonna go get. So the first thing that kind of clues me in on maybe I should get some new running shoes is how long I've had my current running shoes. The general guidelines is about 300 to 500 miles put in, so I can kind of estimate around where I'm at. Or if you're smarter than I am, you could just use Strava and track your shoe and just know how many miles you're doing. But for me, I've had my pair of Brooks Ghost 14. I've actually had the two. I alternate them. Had them for about 4 months. By my guesstimates, I'm doing between 20 to 30 mile weeks on the regular, but I do take some weeks off because I've been injured a lot. And so let's just assume I'm about 25. So it's about 100 miles a month for 4 months is 400 miles. But like I said, I'm alternating shoes. So it's about 200 miles per shoe, which you might remember is not really in the range of 300 to 500 like the guidelines is. And that's where the other reasons about me needing new shoes kind of come into play. So the second thing that I look at for my shoes is how worn they are. I'm a supinator, so I hit the outside of my shoes a lot, and they get worn down really heavy. And my Brooks both are absolutely blasted. I can actually feel when I'm standing that I'm not like standing on the ground. I'm kind of like, and it's not a great feeling. And that extra wear kind of brings in this extra signal, the third signal, if you will, which is that my ankle and shin splint pain frequency is going whoop. It is going up. And so for me, one of my key signals is when I get shin splints kind of pain, I'm like, I really need to think about getting new shoes because I don't typically have that pain unless my shoes are really old. So now let's move on to what shoes am I gonna get? Now, originally I was just gonna get the Brooks 14 again because I'm really enjoying those shoes, but something didn't quite feel right in my brain today. So I had to do some diving. I had to do some research. Gardner Holmes is on the case. So I thought back at my last 8 months of training. So I kind of had two different groups of shoes there. One was going to be the Hoka 1-1 Rincon 2s and the Brooks Catamount trail running shoes. I was back in California with my parents and I had a lot more access to trails. And now I've been running on double Brooks Ghost 14. So the biggest difference between these two segments of my last 8 months has been the frequency of injuries. And that kind of was hinted at in the beginning of the video when I said I take some weeks off for injuries. My heels have just felt tighter, so I felt like I had to rest a little bit more often to make sure I didn't hurt myself. Obviously, like my ankle, shin splint pain is definitely coming in hard right now. And it got me thinking maybe it is the shoes because I have been frustrated. Extremely frustrated that I have been struggling to improve my volume of running, my intensity of running, because I'll go for a month and then break down for a week and then I'm kind of building back up. And I've been stuck at that 20-25 mile range like I mentioned earlier, and rarely am I hitting the 30-mile weeks. So I had to dig into these shoes and I did have a culprit for all my injuries in mind: the heel toe drop. Rewinding it back to California, the shoes I was looking at were specifically for low heel toe drop. I'm a bit of a naturalist in my mindset where I'd like to keep things kind of as natural as possible. And the toe shoes, I've actually tried them, but they didn't work for me in the past, so I haven't revisited them since. But I just wanted to get a little bit less of a heel toe drop, try to get a little bit more to that natural state. Especially because I'm constantly fighting with my Achilles tendonitis, and I was thinking that if that extra heel toe drop is lessening the stress on my Achilles tendon, you would think that's a good thing, right? You would think that that would help solve my issues, but I think it's actually hurting me more because it's preventing me from lengthening those tendons, like stretching those muscles the way they should be stretched, and it's making my legs weaker. So that first 4 months of the last 8 months, I specifically chose the Catamounts, which have a lower 6mm heel drop, and the Hoka 1-1s, where Hoka is a brand that is known to have a little bit lower of a heel toe drop. I think it's around 5-6mm. And when I look at the specs for the Brooks 14, what do you think I found? I found the Brooks 14 have a 12mm heel toe drop. And that is twice as much heel toe drop. So I really think that that might be the thing. So what I'm looking for in my new shoes, I kind of want to explore some new brands. The Catamounts are trail running shoes. I don't really have any trails to run here. And I really like the Brooks brand, but after doing a lot of research, it seems like there's not a lot of Brooks that have a low heel toe drop, or I can't really find them that easily. So Brooks are off the table. Let's try Hoka again. One of my biggest issues with the Hoka shoes I had, the Rincon 2, was that they were like so bouncy, and that bounciness ended up kind of messing me up, where I started to get some knee pain just because I felt like it was too cushiony for me. I kind of like the harder soles, less cushion, more responsive, I think is the word they use. And so I thought, let's look up some Hoka shoes that are just less cushiony. So I ended up finding the Hoka Mach 5, which is a low heel toe drop, which is kind of the classic Hoka style. It has much less cushion than the Rincon 2s I had before, so I'm pretty excited to try those out. I did like the Hokas aside from the cushion, so this might be all I need to fall in love with Hokas. But we are not done yet, because I always like to get 2 pairs of running shoes so you can alternate them between runs, give them a little breathing room, because word on the street back in my day was that that helps them get a little bit extra longevity, and you know that's what we're all about. And when we're trying out new shoes like this time, it gives us a little bit of a better comparison point. So I have looked up a little bit more on the kind of low to zero drop running shoes, and I think I found my target is going to be the Alta Escalante Racers. One of these comments actually sold it from me. This guy who runs high school, cross country, and track, puts on tons of miles, has some shin splint issues, but these fixed it for him. I'm kind of having some shin splint issues right now, so we'll see if these do the same.
It's new shoe time. Yep. Yes.
First run with the new Hokas. Just gonna take it easy, see how it goes, and see how they feel. So far so good with the walking over here, but just going around the track. There's my wifey. Run all done. It was nice. Just started out really easy, got a little bit faster with each mile. Feet feel good, heels feel really good. My shins are a little questionable, but I think that's just some new shoe action going on. And pretty happy, pretty excited. You ever have those runs where like you just can't stop farting? This was one of those runs, so you know how it goes.